Smokey, chill out. To everyone, I'm Brian Roberts. I've worked on many different projects in the past 18 years. One was THC Clothing back in the 90s, 2000 BC Smoke Shop on Melrose back in the 90s as well. And then as the 2000s started, moved off to Europe, started THC BV, sold clothes throughout Europe and opened a shop in Amsterdam for several years. As the time progressed, I sold all of that, started THC Expo, had to dump that after a year, started THC Expose, and now we're doing a quarterly magazine to promote our shows, and we've just started the Buddha Fest. But the Buddha Fest is pretty much an awareness concert. We've got musicians, comedians, we've got vendors, we've got food vendors, there's clothing, cannabis clubs, medical clubs, glass companies, but whatnot. It's not really a festival or anything, it's more of a it's an awareness program. We're also going to do the Jack Herrera Awards inside the show as well. But the event's really to voice your opinion for 19 or against 19. We want to be the soapbox of opinion. Whether you're for it or against it, you need to have your voice heard, listened, so the people out there can make an honest, educated decision. Political commercials tend to not really tell you the story about why you should vote no on 19 or why you should vote yes on 19. So we're hoping to open up the dialogue among cannabis industry personnel and hear what they have to say. Are they for it or against it? That's the first thing happening. The other thing is my goals with the event. Let's see. The actual goal is to bring awareness. It's not necessarily, what's up, Smokey? Smokey popped into our warehouse, hence the name Smokey. I got a barrage of animals next to me. Omar the dog, but okay, back to the main ticket. We're really trying to create awareness at the Buddha Fest. It's more of a, it's just an awareness program. We want to have education there, but it's not really something that's going to go on to bring in tons of dollars. Probably I'll actually lose money doing the event. But with awareness, we're trying to get as many media personnel there. We want people to talk about and hear what's going on November 2nd, which is the vote in California, which internationally will change the entire world if cannabis is legalized in California. Domestically in California, let's hear. Is it good for us? Is it bad for us? We don't know. I'd like to hear from experts, lawyers, politicians, and some of the industry leaders. So come to the Buddha Fest and hear what they have to say. And then on November 2nd, whether you're for it or against it, go vote. Exercise your right. Do I use marijuana? Of course. That's a given. Whether you use it recreational or for medicinal, that's no one's interest, nor is it their business. If you do use it, be wise, be smart, take care of your business, pay your bills, respect your neighbors, and be a responsible user. If marijuana is legalized, I've heard the argument that you're going to see people smoking going to work. Depending upon your job, why would you smoke and go to work? You know, do you drink a six-pack at work? You know, alcohol's legalized. Does that mean you're going to go run out and grab a bottle of whiskey and drink it on the way to work? I doubt it. So some people do. Let's not be mistaken, some people do. But that doesn't mean the majority of people, because marijuana is legalized, are going to go run out and smoke a joint on the way to work. That's a farce. We're adults. We should have our own. We should be smart enough to decide when you should smoke a joint and when you shouldn't. So I don't think that argument that everyone's going to go smoke a joint before they go to work is going to be true, because we're adults, we're responsible. So let's stick with that one. History and the background of marijuana. Well, we're going to go back 2,000 years to the Chinese using it as a medicinal herb and smoking. We're going to talk about the Native Americans. You tell me. It's a plant that's been here for ages. It's not really a... talk about the history. I'll tell you about the history. Let's talk about American history. 1937, we made hemp illegal. Hemp is not a smoking... It's a relative of cannabis, but it's actually separated. You can't get high from hemp, but yet it's illegal. Why? When the Industrial Revolution came about, we needed to make sure we had jobs in factories. What was the most competitive thing to allow these factory jobs? Hemp. Why? It's used for paper. You don't have to cut down the Pacific Northwest and have an entire mountain range gone, missing 100 years later, still being reforested. Plastic, one of the worst environmental things we've ever created. I think there's I don't know for sure, but I've been told and I've seen pictures, there's a floating island of plastic in the Pacific Ocean the size of Texas. Disgusting. That was a huge competitor to hemp and cannabis back in 1937. Cotton industry. I heard the cotton yield this year is horrific and prices have doubled. Well, how many pesticides do you use with cotton? Tons. It's one of the worst crops grown. Hemp plant, less water needed, no pesticides, and it can make clothes. You tell me. Hemp competes with everything we produce today. I think in 1937, Popular Mechanics said there's 25,000 products made out of the hemp product. Who makes money on it? Hemp farmers, not the factory workers and not the corporations. Let's bring it back to the individuals and get the power back to the people and get away from our governments and corporations. That's a definite. 420, and where does it come from? And where does 420 come from? All right. That is mythological. No. Actually, a friend of mine, one of the seniors of High Times, just used my buddy evanyorkclothing.com. So if you go, don't want to plug High Times, but go to High Times, check out the video. It's a little animation. It's about a 45-second thing on where 420 came from. It's friggin' hysterical. So to be dead honest with you, I'll give credit to where that came from. I think 420 started from High Times promoting a band in, I think it was San Rafael, California, but again, I had no fucking clue. So investigate yourself. Take a peek at the video. Any other comments? All I can say is no matter if you're for or against Prop 19, vote November 2nd. It's a midterm election. There's usually 32% of the population that votes. We could be a massive swing vote. And the percentage of cannabis voters that do go out and vote, whether you vote yes or no, it proves to politicians if they don't start acting in our favor, they're going to soon be voted out. Because the majority of us believe and approve of the freedom of the people and the freedom of choice. So vote, yes or no. November 2nd, California. Ropes and all types of displays and trying to walk around and get all the history as we display it and put it together. Here's still boxes of stuff we gotta unpack. I mean, it's a mess right now. Smoking cats and and we've been taking things to show, so it's all been packed up in boxes. Yeah. But as we start unpacking and bringing it out, we put together all these different little things. A little education. I'll give you the history of Hampton. I mean, it starts right over here. That's the devil. Let me sing and dance with it.
Wasn't it Harry J. Anslinger that created that propaganda?
Yep, Harry J. Anslinger, who was married to, I think, there's some connection with him and DuPont. The daughter of DuPont was his wife or something. So, a little fixing of the table back